So hello YouTube, so today guys, I will be providing you with my Fantastic Four review. I was recently forced to see this movie, and because people have such weird and strong opinions about a movie they've never seen before, I think it's only right that I share my opinion on this movie. One different thing about this review is I'm coming in from a perspective that most people reviewing on Metacritic, Rotten Tomatoes, and also just other YouTubers reviewing the video are probably not coming from. I'm not a fan of Marvel. I'm not really a fan of superheroes. I haven't seen a Fantastic Four movie before. I don't watch many Marvel movies either, so I'm not some big superhero nut. Some people, specifically the people who came into this movie giving it an 8 out of 100, which is what it got on Rotten Tomatoes overall, people like that are definitely going to be more of the hardcore fans. So I'm coming in from a pretty neutral perspective. I'm just going to rate this as a movie on its own terms. I don't care about previous predecessors. I don't care about other movies and other franchises. I'm just going to review a simple movie. That's all I'm going to do. So let's begin here, guys. Basic plot here. I don't want to get too into it. But basically, this kid's a mad genius. The main character, I believe his name is Reed Richards, I believe that's his name. So basically, guys, he wants to build a teleporter. That's his dream from a child, is to build a teleporter. So eventually he was able to accomplish this with help from his friend. I believe his name is Jamie Bell, I believe that's his real name. In the movie, his name is Ben Grimm. So they build a teleporter, they get help from a bunch of other people, and eventually they do in fact build this teleporter. So basically, I won't spoil anything more than that, but the point is, due to his invention of the teleporter, his life turns upside down. Now, that's a simple way of putting it, because he has created this, this teleporter, which is still something that hasn't been done to this day. The government, bad people, good people, all are attracted to him, and a crazy amount of, events is what ensues from him creating this mechanism. Let me tell you now, guys. This movie is about 2 hours long, maybe a little bit shorter. The point is, the one major, flaw some people had with the movie was the amount of build-up to the main climax. Most of the movie was really a backstory. There wasn't much of a time when there was a really, clear climax, a clear point of no return. You know what I'm saying? Like, most of the movie was like the backstory. They didn't start teleporting. There really wasn't any fighting, and really toward the last 1/3 of the movie. So that was definitely one concern, one issue people had. I personally, this is one thing that's going to be different for most people. I actually enjoyed the first 2/3 of the movie because this movie was all build-up. It was dependent on at least decent writing, decent, not too much action, just decency. Basically, when the action comes, that's when this movie turns to crap. In terms of a simple drama, a simple movie, when you take away the fighting, it's not bad. The first half is basically just how this whole thing happened. There's no fighting, it's all simple. I didn't mind the backstory. I found it very fascinating how they created this device. But as soon as they step into the finished product, they go into the dimension where they gain the superpowers. That's basically the last 1/3 of the movie. First of all, that's like barely any portion of the movie, you know what I'm saying? Second of all, this one of the movie becomes very weird and stupid and confusing and I don't want to spoil too much, but as soon as they get the powers, that's when the movie turns to shit. Not only does it make no sense how Doctor Doom even survived on, I don't want to spoil anything, but basically he's stuck on this planet, right? He's stuck on this new planet while the rest of the gang gets back safely. He is stuck on this planet where they acquire their powers, and basically it makes no sense how he would even survive there for who knows how long until they find him again. But that's a spoiler. I don't want to spoil it too much. Basically, the last 1/3 of the movie, the fighting was horrible. The explanation of how Doctor Doom was even made is horrible. The fighting is horrible. The climax. This is the real issue with the movie here. The climax was horrible. The fighting was bad. The reason why they were fighting made no sense, and it just was a horrible climax. It also, in my opinion, makes no sense how the woman even acquired the powers she has acquired. She was not actually in the, she did not go into the time-traveling device. So, it really was confusing how she even acquired powers to begin with. The point is, this movie really fell on its face in the second half. The first half was a pretty interesting story. It was really more of a drama, more of a science fiction movie, and I appreciate it. I did not mind it at all. But as soon as the Fantastic Four came to fruition, the movie was no longer interesting in my opinion. So overall, is this an 8 out of 100? Hell no. It was a fantastic trip, at least in the beginning. But over time, the movie eventually lost steam. Obviously, guys, you've heard from the director that this was not his true vision. You could definitely see why. You could definitely see what would have happened here, because the foundation was actually pretty interesting. You definitely could have seen what would happen with this movie if the director really had his true vision realized. Because this movie could have been really good. So overall, I mean, this movie is not great, but I would still give it, I mean, let me think here. Let me think. Maybe like a 2 out of 5. If you're a hardcore fan, you may enjoy it, but overall, it's not a 0. It's not an 8 out of 100. It really wasn't that bad. It just had a horrible climax, and the Fantastic Four portion of it was actually not interesting at all. So I could see why hardcore fans would really hate it. But if just like me, you're just an average viewer, you don't care about the whole backstory of the history, it was a decent movie. So yeah, it was a decent movie. It won't be receiving any awards, but at the same time, an 8 out of 100, no way. This was actually pretty interesting, especially in the beginning. So really hope you guys enjoyed this video. So thank you, bye. Tell me down below, do you want to see more reviews like this?